There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? Your boy Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG Gifting and Gift. Hey, I personally just want to take the time to tell each and every one of you, thank you for giving me your eyes and your ears once again as we ready to dive deep into some inspiration that I pray will plant like a seed in your mind and assist you in becoming a greater version of yourself. So you guys are in for a treat. Go ahead and get your pen, your paper. I got my guy, Anthony McCauley. He is coming on GNG Podcast as we tackle the theme, M.A.L.E.S of distinction. And he is going to drop some gems, some tips and techniques for our young men as they strive to grow towards personal development. And for those teachers, those parents, those coaches who are seeking some wisdom on how to help our young males grow in personal development. And before I read off this short bio and get this giant on GNG Podcast, you know that our motto is we're all gifted differently to make a difference. And I know there are tons of difference makers that is listening. Go ahead and let us know that you're there, how we can support you. Share this out to anyone that you feel will be able to resonate with GNG Podcast. And hey, you know that no one is too small to be a difference maker. So do your thing right now. Impact right now. And I want to encourage you to take this daily challenge with me as I strive to take this challenge for the rest of my life. And that is to become a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for themselves by adopting unwavering life values and serving others, listen to me, in an area of gifting led by God. You are gifted differently to make a difference. And I thank you, whoever's taking that daily challenge with me. I know Anthony's taking that daily challenge. Let me read this short bio. We're going to get this giant on GNG Podcast back on. So Anthony McCauley, he is a speaker, a best-selling author. He is the CEO of M.A.L.E.S from Thomasville, North Carolina. I love the acronym for M.A.L.E.S. Making Achievable Life-Enhancing Strides. And he is passionate about mentorship, life coaching, and education. And he is on GNG Podcast. Are you ready to get it, King?
Man, first of all, let me say thank you, man. What a pleasure to be on Gift and a Gift, man. GNG with my man Chaz. Man, thank you so much for the invite, man. But yeah, man, life happened, man, at a certain point for me. Well, growing up, you know, I came from a great background, great family. Dad was a disciplinarian. I'm the oldest of three, Chaz. And Dad had rules in his house, man. And there were plenty of times I can remember growing up that, you know, I had to take out the trash, do things, learning how to mature as a young man. But there were some times I was an athlete in high school, man. Basketball, football, and track. I excelled in all three of those sports, but I had this desire, man. I wanted to play the saxophone, man. And Dad was always, my dad was an outstanding football player, man. I read some articles on my father, man, back in the day, and of some things that he accomplished, but I don't want to say he wanted to live his dream through me, but I love music. But I did excel because on the football field, I was one of the bigger guys on the team. And in basketball, I played center, man. That's how tall I was in my high school, you know. And I'm a 6'2", man. But in some schools now, you find kids way taller than that. But anyway, man, after some injuries happened my senior year in high school, I had several colleges looking at me, man. And after I had a knee injury where I had to get my ACL was torn. And after that, I started sustaining a lot of injuries, man. And I couldn't continue on with my sports career. Ended up very briefly trying out for a team at East Tennessee State and ended up hurting myself again, Chaz. so my dad, I came from a blue collar family, man. And my hometown, Thomasville, North Carolina, is where was blue collar furniture work. That's what raised our family. So at the time, my dad told me, you got to come back home, man. I didn't get a full ride scholarship to college, so I had to come back home and attend community college. Came back home, Chaz, and found myself doing some things and getting involved in some areas that led me on a journey that I don't wish on anyone. It ended up being a journey of drugs and alcohol at an age of 17 years old, 18 years old, man. And then I started started using, and substance use came into play, man. And I achieved some, even in active addiction, man, there was some clean time. There were some times when I didn't want to do what I was doing and living the way I was living anymore. So I would have some clean time in between. And now I live a lifestyle of recovery, man. I went down a road, Chaz, a dark road, man, of epidemic that hit in the 80s of crack cocaine, man. And that thing made my body feel so wonderful, and it made me feel invincible. But there's a lot of dark areas that come along with that lifestyle, man. And you can paint it however you want to paint it, man. But the frame remains the same, but that picture always changes, man, when you're dealing with substance use disorder, man. You know, really and there's a lot in between that, Chaz. I used to be ashamed of that thing, man, because I'm Anthony, man. I'm that dude, man. You know, I'm on gift and a gift this morning, man.
I'm telling you, man.
But man, it took a lot to get here, man. It took a made up mind. It stripped me of loving myself. I have been to rehab centers, and I have disappointed and exhausted my family. And, I went through one marriage, and I exhausted that young lady, man. And the most beautiful thing came out of that was two beautiful daughters, man. And shout out to my baby girl, Marissa, who's graduating next week from college. And
congratulations, Marissa.
Yeah, man.
What is she graduating? What is she studying?
Graphic art design, man. She can look at you and draw you to scale. She does logos. She does all kinds of work. And my oldest daughter, shout out to her as well, man, for being strong in who she is and walking in her own identity. And man, so that's the most beautiful thing that came out of that. And not only that, I have a great relationship with the mother of my children now, you know. And so I had to rebuild a lot of things, man. I stripped. I exhausted, man. I wasn't ambitious anymore, man. I crumbled under pressure, man. And you know, but I'm back, Chaz. After two overdoses,
better than ever, man.
Yeah, man. After two overdoses out there on them streets, man. I'm here for a reason, brother.
Dude.
I would have never met you, man. God allowed me to meet you. You know, so that's, I could keep going on and on, man. That thing was ideal now of helping others with substance use and abuse disorders. You know, recovery coaching, peer support specialist. And man, out of the new book, man, The Impact of Influence, so many doors have opened up for me locally, man, nationally and internationally, man. I've had to retrain or redo some things with the organization as well. I am the founder and CEO of Males of Distinction Youth Organization. This organization deals with young men between the ages of 8 and 17 years old who society calls them at risk, Chaz. I call them at purpose.
Dude, hey, somebody need to hear that again. Somebody's listening right now. Say that one more time. That was deep.
They call my boys who may have their pants sagging a little bit, who may have dreadlocks. They call them at risk youth. I don't call them that, man. I call them at purpose.
Dude,
and if they come through deep, me, man, and they learn to pull their pants up, and they learn that at some point you're going to have to get a haircut, it changes their lives. So they're at purpose. They're not at risk. You know, don't give up on them. They need to learn things, their mental, their social, their spiritual, emotional, and physical needs, man. They need to learn those things, man. If nobody's never told them, they're not going to know. So that's what I deal with. And as well, off a spinoff of Males of Distinction. And M.A.L.E.S, by the way, Chaz, is making achievable life-enhancing strides. Distinction means you're set apart. So I tell these young men, look, you can make achievable life-enhancing strides, and you're set apart, young men. Off of this organization, inside of the organization, we have core programs. We have a jiu-jitsu academy. We have a drone program. We have a school impact program. I run school impact program, but right now with COVID, we've not been able to go into the schools, man, or into the community settings because of different things. We got to take some
that's going
precautions.
to definitely open up, I know, moving forward. And God's using you so much, Anthony, man. Thank you so much for going into your story. And you really hit on something, how, you was that athlete, you got that injury. And a lot of times, us as athletes, and I relate so much. We've talked off camera. Shout out to my man Chip Baker for connecting me.
Yes.
He's an amazing individual, and so many amazing guys that came together and built that Impact of Influence book. And just going back to that whole injury, and you're stating, how once that your career was done, gravitating towards that substance abuse and just making some poor decisions. But hey, you're here and you're blessing other people with your story and the gifts and talents and the tips and techniques that you've used to overcome that addiction. And I relate so much on that end, because it was like, after my football career, it was like that's what I had my identity in. And when I got into the real world, I didn't really know how to function properly, and I began to drink even more. And I've kind of shared this with you before, and it caused me to make some poor decisions and deal with that whole addiction and bad habits. And coming out of that storm, and so many things that we relate, having daughters and you pouring wisdom on how to get my girls, to that college level, so many things. But thinking about that males of distinction, that's going to be the theme of this whole ideal. How, as far as an athlete, going from a male athlete, whenever he loses that identity of that sport and replacing it with something with purpose versus, and I feel like me and you can relate, we gravitated something else to kind of fill that void, if that makes sense. But filling that void with something, positive that will influence themselves, influence their families, their school, their community, allowing their gifts and talents led by God to, pour into their generation and next generation to come. Thinking back on how you came out of that storm and still taking that daily challenge, Anthony, of, becoming your greatest version of yourselves. Can you just share a tip or technique that you used along your journey, to kind of overcome that substance abuse and find your true identity that you're doing right now?
Oh man, what an amazing analogy, what way to put that, man. But I find right now, and it's so disturbing, that I have young men who are very talented. The generation right now that's growing up, some of those kids who are when I was that age, these kids are standing taller than I was, However, what I'm finding is I got 8th grade boys who are on 2nd grade reading levels, man. So they have nothing to fall back on. What I had to fall back on, and what I knew inside of me, man, was a gift and talent that God gave me of creativity and intelligence. I knew that at an early age, if I didn't make it in sports, I knew, man, that I had something inside of me that was greater than me. And it came to be the spirituality side of my life. Now, people might say, well, you just told us that you were a drug, you were a drug addict. Well, you know what? I knew early on God covered my life. You know how I knew? Because at some point, the danger of living that lifestyle, I found myself in areas, Chaz, all around the United States where I've even had a gun jam on me, man. I had drug dealers getting ready to blow my head off, man. But the gun jam, and had to bully my way out of those situations. So what I had inside of me, man, was my dad called it charisma. He said, dude, I don't know how you do it, man, but you got this classic charisma about you. He said, because even on the streets, Chaz, people would say, you don't look like you do. Who is this dude? They thought I was the police, man. I'm hanging around these places, man, and they look going, I'm clean cut, but they had what I wanted. And I didn't care how I looked to go get it, but people associate a stereotypical look when you mention drug addict.
Mm.
I called myself priding myself to be clean cut on the streets, man, which was insanity, because people you're a functioning addict. No, I was not functioning because I lost everything.
Mm.
I was not functioning. I would try to hold on to a position, a career position as long as I could until they fired me. People around me could see the change. They could see the dark circles under my eyes, man, from being out all night. The residuals, even coming out of your pores, man. Other people can smell that,
Mm.
So it began to catch up with me, man. And I lost my mind, but the spirituality of my life, the emotion, I had no self-esteem, but I knew I had it inside of me. I knew that this day would come, man. I didn't know to what capacity. I didn't know how God was going to do it. But, man, look at what Chip Baker has brought us all together, man, in this impact of influence, man. That's very powerful. I didn't know it was going to be like that, man. But I knew at some point God was going to elevate me if I would just have a moment of clarity and clean up.
Mm. Dude, thank you so much for going into that even more. And it sounds like getting that self-awareness in order, and really that whole self-talk, right? I know you went into the whole ideals of, that whole identity of being an addict, and really just coming to grasp with that. Hey, that is the identity that I do have, but hey, I'm something greater than that. That's part of my story. Because I love what Maya Angelou says. She says, there is no greater agony meaning mental suffering, than the bearing of an untold story inside of you. So, dude, man, there are so many people out there that's suffocating that needs to hear your story, right? It needs to hear my story. And, for me, there was a journey in my life where, man, I was afraid of my own story, man. It was like, man, I don't want them to judge me. I don't want them to assume anything. I don't want, them to look down on me or think Chaz is not capable because he had alcohol addiction. But hey, man, I know me being more confident in sharing myself, that shows other people, hey, that my wounds can heal too, I can, based on what Chaz scars are, hey, that's showing me that there's a purpose, that there is healing involved. And, for me, that was me becoming a follower of Jesus. When I allowed Jesus to take over my life, those wounds begin to heal. And I love what Lecrae says as well, man. He says we should not be afraid of our scars because it shows wounded people that healing is real, man. And I know you're on that journey as well of just sharing yourself because, especially we're talking with young men in general, our young people, we can share our successes. Yes, I've spoken to people and been a part of amazing ideas as far as projects of writing books and doing all these amazing things. And they respect that, but they're really going to respect my weaknesses more because that's how I'm going to relate with them. Those feelings, those beliefs, those opinions, those feelings of me feeling unloved and having fear and anxiety and not knowing which way I'm going to turn to. That is the stuff that they can relate to, and that they can be like, hey, man, if Chaz can do it, I can do it. If Anthony can do it, I can do it. So, man, again, man, thank you so much for what you're doing and how you're using your story to impact our young people. And even on the flip side, I know there's, teachers and parents and coaches that's listening to you right now, Anthony. Let's say that they have a young man that's dealing with substance abuse right now, dealing with finding their identity, outside of sports. Is there any encouragement you can give to them as well?
Yes, it is, man. First of all, I know that it may look like it's an exhausting situation. I know that it's shameful to the family. I know that change is the rule of life, okay? And no one has all the best qualities. But when it comes to our relatives, our loved ones, or even someone you might see on the street, man, I met people, Chaz, who had college degrees that were out there drug addicts, man. You never know, man. My thing is I can't stand for somebody's, oh man, look, there's a real crackhead, man. Oh man, he'll act, look at that drunk. I can't stand that, man. It bothers me, man, to my core, man, because that's somebody's son. That's somebody's daughter. And they can't grasp a hold of what they need to get a hold of, man, until somebody like me comes along and put my arms around them and say, man, I know you might stink right now, man, but you know what? If you need some help, I can help you, man. God has given me the ability to adapt to any surrounding that I'm in, Chaz. God has given me the ability to go down but be mindful. I could go in the hood right now, man, or I could go in any setting right now and talk to somebody that's down and out, man, and not judge them for the circumstance that they're in at that moment. I love people, man, and I love to see people clean up. If they would just give themselves a moment of clarity and walk in it, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have the shakes, man. You're gonna be craving like crazy. And Chaz, here's the reality of it. I have fallen 70,000 times. I was what they call a chronic relapser, okay? I would have significant amount of clean time, and for some odd reason, man, I would go and say, you know what? Oh, I'm doing good. I can go get one. No, you can't go get one. You can't go get one. And I know that about me now. And I'm at that threshold again, coming up on a 5-year mark. And that's my mark. That's my mark again.
Dude, congratulations,
so,
man.
Yes. So, but look, here's what happens. Here's my awareness now. I got a whole bunch of people. I got 17 guys, 16 guys who I can pick up the phone and call at any moment. The impact of influence. I got a whole lot of brothers in my life. I got a whole lot of kids in my life who look up to me, man. How dare me let them down, man? You know, I deserve to have this, man. You know, I'm looking to achieve extra right now. I'm working on minister's license. So I'm held accountable to a whole different standard right now. My goal is to give back, man, to serve others. I don't care if you just put down the bottom a few minutes ago and you say, Anthony, can you help me? Yes, I can. And I won't stand in judgment of that. You know, that's the reality of it, man. And I try to tell others, man. And a great friend of mine, she told me this one. She said, Anthony, people got to learn how to fly. I said, what are you talking about? She said, first love yourself.
Whoa.
She said, when people learn how to fly, when they first love yourself, learn how to fly.
Wow.
Man,
I like that, man.
Look, when you begin to start loving yourself, Chad, you can exercise self-compassion, man, and self-respect. You know, when you first start when you start back loving yourself, you can recognize your strengths and weaknesses, man, your faults. And then you can get to the point where you can understand you are human and nobody's perfect. Your story may not be drugs and alcohol. Some of y'all talk too much. Some of y'all eat too much. You know, some of y'all people are strung out on porno. You know, it's so many things going on. Your story may not be mine, but I tell you what, if you can get to the point where you can start learning how to fly, first love yourself, you can always enjoy and love yourself. Because inside of each and every one of us, Chaz, is unique skills, a unique spirit, and unique skills, man. You have to tap into it, man.
I'm telling you, man.
By when you begin to start taking good care of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you can start accompanying yourself, man, with people who respect and help you in developing your personality.
Dude.
Just like you're doing with me, man. And when I first met you, you were out there in Texas. I have been saying this for years before I even met you guys, that I was going to be in Texas. And I'm like, I know now I can make a phone call and go to Texas, man.
Dude, anytime.
Everybody in the book from Texas, man. But look, here you are. You from North Carolina.
Hey, look at that.
Come on, man. Come on, man. But so I want people to be ambitious in their own way, man. Regardless, you're gonna get knocked down. But here's one of my favorite things. When you get knocked down, Lord have mercy, don't stay there. Get up. because there's a gift in a gift inside of you. Ooh. Come on, man. There's a gift in a gift inside of you. Somebody is waiting to hear about how you did what you did. So, Chaz, I'm not ashamed anymore, man. And here's what's happening locally now in my county. I talk to inmates on Zoom who've been locked up for drug charges.
Wow.
I deal with men who've been charged with domestic violence. I'm the group facilitator. And look, how about now? The police call me for help.
Wow. Dude, that's such a blessing, man.
Yes.
You are a blessing. You are a gift in the gift. And the whole idea behind that is physically you're a gift, but there's a seed of greatness inside of each and every one of us. And I'm just so excited, man. You definitely watering my seed this morning. I know there's people that's listening. You've watered their seed. And hey, we're all gifted differently to make a difference. I know you mentioned so many circumstances, so many traumas and dramas and things that we can go through and endure in life. But hey, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. No one has your fingerprint. Nobody. And you, there's going to be some people that I'm going to be able to reach that you're not going to be able to reach, and vice versa. And whoever's listening right now, please consider that, because no one is never too small to be a difference maker in someone's life. And when I say that small, it's not coming from a space of me having an ego or me looking down on anybody. It's meaning that there's nothing that you need to achieve right now, a degree or something that needs to come into your life right now before you can start being a difference maker. If that makes sense. You are equipped right now, right where you are, listening to us right now on GNG podcast. So let's continue to take that daily challenge. And I'm going to take it with you of valuing people, caring about people, and serving in your area of gifting. That's such good stuff, Anthony, man. You definitely dropped the mic. I hope whoever's listening right now, you got your pen and paper and took these notes. But if you didn't, it's all right. Go ahead. I'll pause this bad boy, rewind it. Hey, take down some of this value that was given by Anthony McCauley. And Anthony, I know there's somebody listening right now. They're like, I want to get in contact with this giant, get more in front of M.A.L.E. of distinction, support that group, support some things that Anthony got going. Also share some other things that you got going upcoming 2021 that we can be praying about. And again, your contact information.
Man, I tell you what, man, I love the best way to always get in touch with me is through that Facebook Messenger, man. And plus you can follow me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Just type in the name Anthony McCauley. I used to didn't want nobody to Google me, but I'll be proud for you to Google Anthony McCauley now because of how I've held myself accountable. And I do recovery coaching sessions, and I'll always be myself when I talk to you. So I'll give respect and inspect, and I always expect that respect in return. So I learned how to control my anger and jealousy. I walk in a genuineness. My motives are pure in helping you. So you can reach out to me on social media, especially Facebook. We have a Males of Distinction page. I have a confidence communication coaching page on Facebook, and just you can do a direct message to me on Messenger. And I see those all the time coming through. So I love helping. Just don't crumble under pressure. You know, I'm a man of my word. And I do not judge others. And I will always be myself. And I would love you. And one of my taglines is I always say, people saying now all around the United States, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's so beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for blessing GNG podcast with your time, your effort. Man, whenever, an individual come onto this show, I know it's generally led by God, and you came in my path for a purpose, and I don't take that lightly. Just know I'm always supporting you. I'm always there for you. When you need me, God willing. You know how circumstances are, but you just know you got a brother that's praying for you and just want the best for everything that God's putting inside of you to bring forth for this world to see. But again, man, it's been such a treat for you being on this episode, and God bless you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing so many more things God's gonna do in your life, because we still got breath in our body, so we know this
That's
ain't
right,
this
man.
ain't over yet. There's more to come. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
again,
much,
brother.
man, for allowing me to be on Gift and a Gift. And man, I'm a part of your life for the rest of your life now, man.
Most definitely,
You
most
know what
definitely.
I'm saying? So it's a wrap on that.
And I already know this ain't gonna be our last one, so we jumping back on here again for sure.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you again, man. I'm forever grateful, man.
Yes, sir. Yo, I want you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. I told each and every one of you, Anthony McCauley is going to drop some gems. Let us know what type of technique that you're going to take and apply to your life today. Take that daily challenge today. Let us know how we can support you. I want you to do two things for me. Keep that crown on your heart. And please remember this. We are God's echo. I love you guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to G&G Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit ChazJacksonSpeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.